They don't want to hear what I have to say about it. So, yeah, when they first played me that song, I, of course, gravitated to the end of the song and saw that as they played the whole song out, they got to the end, which was, I left behind my unmade mind. And, you know, Nora and I have this running thing in our family where I always say, how are you? And she says, I'm fine. And as soon as she says, I'm fine, in the past, I used to go, really? She goes, yes, I'm fine. And so we would have this running joke, and finally I go, how are you? She'd say, I'm fine. And I go, really? And she goes, but this song really captures that whole concept. How often do we say, I'm fine, when we're not? How often do we just say, things are good? How are things? Things are good. And I know that spiritually speaking, that's the truth. Things are good. Everything's unfolding perfectly. But in order to make the changes we need in our lives, we have to be willing to look at what's in front of us and say, you know what? Not so good right now. How you doing? Nah, a little challenging right now. Anybody have any of those things going on? Right, so we have to be willing to say that, because if we just keep saying, everything's fine, we're not really honoring the truth that I am a divine human being. And I know the song that's coming next week, which is going to be right on top of this, that Yoni's going to sing, which is just amazing as well. So the whole concept of my unmade mind, the title of my talk today is Make It Up. Make it up. And really it is about making up your mind. So I have a question for you today, which is this. If someone said to you, what's your best asset? You look through all the things in your life and say, what's your best asset? Paulette, what's your best asset?
My ability to communicate.
Your ability to communicate, great. So Hannah, what's your best asset? Your heart. Okay, Bob, what's your best asset?
My humor.
Your youth?
My humor.
Your humor. I liked what I heard. Never mind, I'll take youth. Right, I love that. My humor. Okay, great. Okay. What is your best asset?
Living my truth.
Living my truth. Okay, great. Randy, what's your best asset? I love deeply. Okay, great. Caressa, what's your best asset? Well, did you think I was coming up with another question? You don't know. Your best asset. If you did know, what do you think it would be? That's how I get the answers out. What came to your mind first? Kindness. That's beautiful. And you're an incredibly kind woman. So here, Mark, what's your best asset? he just whispered, I hate questions. Mark, what's the Pentecost? Oh my God, seriously? His answer was my ass. Okay, mine too. But, no, what is your, there have been some things said on this stage today for the first time ever. Man-on-man sexuality. I've never said that, although I quite agree. So, what is your best asset? So I'll tell you, I'm going to give you an answer to that question, which really is the answer by which all other answers come underneath. And do you know what the answer is? Your mind. That is your best asset, your mind. That's how you get great buns. Through the power of your mind and some of these at the gym. Your mind is your greatest asset. And Ralph Waldo Emerson said, live the privilege of an immeasurable mind. I want you to think about that for a moment. Live the privilege of an immeasurable mind. Now, here's the thing about the mind. It is our greatest asset. Everything comes forth from your mind. As Ernest Holmes said, as Jason read this morning in his beautiful meditation, Ernest Holmes talked about the power that is within you is greater than anything that could ever show up outside of you. You are bigger than anything that shows up. Every challenge, you are bigger than it. Although very often we don't feel that, do we? We feel like that problem's enormous. But we are bigger than anything that could ever possibly show up. I am bigger than anything I could ever possibly create. That's the truth. So back to Emerson. Live the privilege of an immeasurable mind. He also said that there is a fluid energy in you, a power in you. an energy that we cannot find the source of. Because it is impossible to find that which I am, because it's what I am, and it's so indelible to who I am, I can't go find it. It's just living who I am. So living your power, stepping into your power, which is what this month is all about, it really does ask the question, are you willing to make up your mind? Your greatest asset is that you can decide. You can make up your mind. So what haven't you made up your mind about? What do you still let float around in your mind in such a way that you're giving the universe mixed messages? I love what Mark said, and I say it all the time. The universe is saying yes to everything. So when you're giving it mixed messages, the universe is saying, yes, you are confused. Yes, you have no clarity. So that's what it's doing. Yes, you are poor. That's what it's doing. So you've got to make up your mind to be rich. Yes. Don't you want to make up your mind to be rich? Yes. Because you are rich. You are the power that is bigger than anything. Anybody's wealth in the entire universe, you have more inside of you. Than a drop of what's inside of you is bigger than any wealth in the entire universe. That's the truth. But we don't say yes to that. We haven't gotten clear. We didn't make up our mind to be rich. We made up our mind to listen to everything that's going on in the world and kind of follow suit. It's a challenging time. So it's a challenging time. And the universe says, yes. And yet there are people that are living opulent lives in the midst of this challenging time. Why are not we one of them? And some of us are. So the question is, are you ready to make up your mind on the things you want to make up your mind about? If you have a health challenge, decide now. Don't wait for the doctors to tell you how you're doing. Because if you wait for the doctor to say you've got a problem, you're going to then say, I have a problem, and then the universe says, you have a problem. No, just say, I am health. I am health. I don't care what you say to me. 5 years ago, I was given a huge, you've got a problem. And I said to everybody, no, I don't. I have something I'm now going to have to do, which is a little bit annoying. I had no idea how annoying it was going to be. But I never said, I have a problem. I just said, fix it. Let's fix it. And it fixes itself here because my mind is my greatest asset. My mind called forth the right doctors, the right surgeons. My mind let go of a surgeon that was supposed to be the best surgeon in our country because I didn't like his consciousness. And thank God I let go of him. Had he done everything he said he was going to do to me that was absolutely necessary, I wouldn't be speaking today. And I just said, which is how we'd have to talk to the law. We have to say, When you hear something in you that says, oh, that's going to be a problem, It's short, it's sweet, it's to the point. Right? That's making up your mind. Are you willing to make up your mind about love? Even if you're in a challenging relationship, are you willing to say, I choose to love? Now let me know what there is to know. And sometimes what there is to know is it's time to move on. But with love, as love. Whatever. Like Mark said, if it's time to move on, move on. We get so busy telling the universe, no, that's not really what I'm thinking. No, it is, because who else is thinking this in your head? No one. You're thinking it in your head. When Mark hears it's time for you to leave, that's him. Nobody stepped in and put a pipeline into his head and said, it's time for you to leave. No, he was busy thinking about everybody else that should be leaving, which I love that you said that. I won't even go there. So, because I love everyone. Yeah. Yes, right. See, now you can because you're gone. Right. So what are you willing to, and that's a good point though. Who's in your life that it's time for you to walk away from? Who's around you that it's time to say, you don't help me. You don't benefit me. Somebody recently let me know that I was someone they needed out of their life because I didn't give them enough attention. And I was like, bless you. I'm sorry. I give my attention where I give my attention. I don't give my attention to those who beg for my attention. So, do you? Do you want to be in a life where everyone is dragging you around piece by piece, point by point, saying, you do this, you do this, you do this? No. Make up your mind. This is who I am. This is how I live. This is what I choose to know. Now, there's another part to make it up, which is the title of my talk, Make It Up. The other one is make it up. Make up a story. A gay one, apparently. Make up a story. What are the stories you're making up? Because guess what? You're making it all up. Every single thing that's happening in your life, you're making up. And you can say to me, no, this really happened. No, it really didn't. It happened in your head. Because you're the one that experienced it your way. There are no facts that are absolute facts that are, this is the only way you can look at this, because we're more than one person in the universe. So whatever you're experiencing, you've made up. Now you get to make up your mind to make up what you want. Make it up. And here's the deal. Once you make it up, once you decide to make up your story, and you make a decision and you say, here's what I'm going to know. Now comes the really hard part that Mark also brought up. Are you willing to surrender to your decision? Are you willing to surrender to it? Yesterday, I was at the building yesterday doing gardening, and I was pulling out a plant to replant it somewhere else, and as I did, I saw a little egg that must have fallen from a nest way up high. I don't know how it ever got down there and in one piece, but it was an egg. So I picked it up, and no, I swear to God this happened, because it's going to sound like that's impossible. As I picked it up, the bird, the little egg, the little thing inside that egg kicked through it, and its little head popped out. I almost died. I was like, between the seals and the birds, what the hell are people trying to tell me? It's like the universe is going, bark, pop out of an egg. What's going to happen next? And it popped out of the egg, and a little thing, and it like kind of moved, and I was like, oh. And I put it in a little can that I found, and I went in here, and literally was going nuts. I came in here, I grabbed some blankets, actually there were dish rags, but blankets to that thing, and I put it over the little tin can, and then I just put it aside and went about my business. But the whole time I'm like, can this bird get out of this egg without my help? And I don't know how to birth I don't know nothing about birthing no eggs. And I was like, I just don't know what to do with this bird. And so I kept going over and peeking, and every time I peeked in, it kind of moved. I was like, still alive. Okay. So I finished everything I was doing. I brought Kevin down. Kevin, are you still here? He has a last show today. He probably left. I brought him down to look at it. Kevin, Mr. Pragmatism. He looks at it, he goes, okay, what are you going to do with it? I was like, I don't know. How do I get it out of the egg? He went, you don't. He said, it's not going to survive, James. And the tears, I start crying. And he's like, really? He said, do you know how many eggs fall out of trees? I said, but this one fell in my hand. And it popped its head out, which means I'm responsible for this egg. And I'm looking up, and there's all these birds on hitches. I was like, now I'm Tippi Hedren. Any minute, they are swooping down. Kill that human. He killed our egg. And so, because I'm a minister of religious science, I immediately went to, what's the message here? What am I supposed to get out of this? So I put the egg in a basket, just like Moses, and I put it in a stream. No. Oh my God, I'm going nuts up here. So I took the basket, I put it in my car, I drove it home because I wanted to show the children. And so I brought Will and Nora out to see it, and they were like, oh my God. And Will's like, Dad, it's dead. I was like, it's not dead, it's still moving. He said, it's dead. He said, Dad, it can't survive. Look, it's half in the egg, half out. It's dead. And all of a sudden it moved, and they went, oh! I said, exactly. See? I said, there is no way I'm calling this SPCA. I'm going online. How do I birth a chick out of an egg? So I did all that stuff because I have nothing else to do. So I go online, I'm looking how do you get the chick out of the egg, and basically it says you don't. Let it do what it needs to do. So I let it do what it needed to do. I just kept checking every few minutes, and finally it passed away. And so I buried it and did some prayers. I put it right in the plant right outside my bedroom so I could see it. started to think, what if the plant like came to life? It turned into a bird plant, you know? Because that's how my mind works. Bonnie, we should write a TV series about bird plant. Yes, it'll sell, Fox. So, here's what I got. Because I really had to think about this hard. Because I was really like, why did I choose to garden? Why did the egg fall? Why did it fall into why did I pick it up? Why did it, as I pick it up, decide to start birthing itself? And then why did it die? I was there. That's what I made up. That's what I attracted into my life yesterday. I made that up. And I choose in my mind always to live whatever comes my way. So, here's what I got. When we make up our minds and we make decisions, how often do we try to rush the process? How often do we crack the egg open before it's ready? How often do we think we have to help it along? Let me just peel back this egg a little bit. And what do we see? Something that's not done. Mark had a project 5 years ago. It wasn't ready. It wasn't time, that's all. It wasn't that it wasn't a brilliant idea. It was a great idea. It wasn't the time. He wasn't equal to it in that moment because that wasn't equal in that moment to being birthed. It wasn't ready. It still needed to stay in the egg. Now, it's already cracked, and it's opening and flying on Monday. So what do you have going on? And are you willing to not only make up your mind, but to make up what you want out of your life? Make a decision and then surrender to it. Absolutely surrender to it. Stay in that egg until it's ready to crack open. Allow it to germinate. Allow it to grow. Allow the universe, allow that thing in you that you are privileged to be, this immeasurable power of the universe. Allow that to do what it does, because you can't help that. You need to just live that. Be willing to be that. And then when you are, then at the exact moment when you cannot do anything but burst open, it bursts open and you're done. You are ready to fly. And it was interesting because there was a little feather on this bird. And Will brought it up. He said, Dad, look at that. It already has a feather. I said, yes, because our ideas inside of us have already grown the wings they need. Once those eggs are cracked, once we come out of that shell and we say, I am here, I am ready, I have made the decision, and we don't give the universe anything to hear but our yes, that's it. Now I just surrender. And as Ernest Holmes said, I just recognize that I am that energy that is bigger than anything I could ever possibly imagine. And as Emerson said, I am fluid. I am absolutely fluid. And I just, as Mark said, I allow whatever needs to grow, whatever needs to be, and trust, have great faith that my life is unfolding perfectly. And I want to give great thanks to that little bird that decided that yesterday's journey included me in it, because I learned a lot. And you can learn a lot from the smallest things in life. Namaste.